Welcome back. Josh Taylor, Paul Zeise, 412-575-2600 on the Borders and Borders hotline. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Taking your phone calls, we've talked a lot of baseball. We've talked a little bit of Stanley Cup Finals. We have Sherry on the line. She wants to talk Belmont Stakes. Sherry, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hi, guys. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
Good. My question is, who do you think is going to be the winner for the Belmont Stakes tomorrow?
Okay. I got my pick. Paul, I think you have yours. I'm going War of Will 2-1 odds. Who you got?
Tacitus. I think he's won 3 in a row. 3 races in a row, and I think, you know,
Okay.
he ran well at the Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
In the mud or the slop or whatever you want to call it. So I think this is the kind of horse that's going to win. You know, the Belmont is the longest of the 3 races. So
yes.
I think that he's got that final kick in him that these other horses don't. So I'll go with Tacitus.
I'm very encouraged that more horses that were in the Kentucky Derby are running in Belmont. So that makes me feel a lot better. Let's go back to the phone lines, 412-575-2600. Let's go to Sam in Wilkinsburg. Sam, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Josh.
Yes, sir.
Josh.
Yes.
You're the best.
Oh,
You should
thank
be
you.
on every night.
Send an email.
And I want to ask both of you a question.
All right.
At this time, how good do you think the Steelers are?
In terms of win-loss record, in terms of whether or not they can win a Super Bowl, what parameters are we talking here?
Based on where they ended up last year to where they are now.
Okay. I'll answer your question in a certain way, and then Paul, I'll let you have at it. Here's how I'll answer it. I look at this roster, based on what it looked like last year. I look at this roster this season, and I look at each position. I can only think of maybe 2 where the depth is not great, but there's at least one guy that you trust at each position on this roster. And I don't think I can make that same claim last year. But there's at least 1 or 2 guys probably at each position that I trust on this roster. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, I mean, I think if you look at it, to me, I think Devin Bush is the key. If Devin Bush is anywhere close to what they thought he was when they drafted him, I think this team's 10-6, 11-5, and winning the division.
I
know everybody's in love with the Browns, and everybody's in love with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. I still think this is the best team, and I think if Devin Bush is what we think he is, they're clearly the best team.
Cleveland and Baltimore are going to be sexy picks because they have young quarterbacks.
Right, of course.
When you have young quarterbacks that have been given the job and they have athleticism, that's taking nothing from Lamar Jackson or Baker Mayfield. I happen to like Baker Mayfield.
No,
For a small confession, I really like Baker Mayfield. But I'm not ready to just jump off of the cliff and say it's Cleveland or bust. No, I'm not ready to go there.
No, and I think the biggest thing about it is Baker Mayfield last year had the benefit of, you know, teams didn't get to watch a whole ton of film. You know,
True.
Now everybody's had a whole offseason to break down every one of his throws, every one of his, you know what I mean? And so now he's going to have to figure out how to counter what the league does to kind of slow him down or stop him.
You know what I think of? I think of Ben Roethlisberger year 1 when he came in for Tommy Maddox and just lit the world on fire. We did win 14 straight games.
I think they were 15-1 that year, weren't
and
they?
then year 2, he was effective. They won games. They ended up winning the Super Bowl. But he didn't perform as well in year 2 during the regular season as he did in year 1 because there is that period where the league is going to adjust to you and they're going to know what your tendencies are. So I thought during the regular season he had to go through a lot, but by the time the playoffs came around, they actually did a pretty good job of preparing him for games.
And you look at what the Chargers did to Lamar Jackson in the playoffs.
Second time around was an entirely different story.
They had seen him once before, but here's the thing, though. The Ravens now have gotten a chance to see what the Chargers did to try and now they'll try and counter to that. But at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson is going to have to show he can beat people with his arm, or it'll just be a nice novelty act that is never going to do it.
And I'm going to throw another wrinkle into this. What kind of offense is he using? Because the offense that he had at Louisville, that was a Bobby Petrino offense. That offense was made to get big plays in chunks. And I saw quite a bit of it myself during my time covering Arkansas. But still, it is a situation if you're Baltimore. And this is an offense that liked to go deep when they had Joe Flacco as their quarterback. So it's not like it's a foreign concept. But it's not like you run the same pass concepts with Lamar Jackson that you're probably going to run with Joe Flacco.
Right. I mean, they're going to change. They're probably going to change, obviously, that part of their offense. So they'll throw it a little bit more than they did last year. But I still think he's going to have to prove that he can do it consistently with his arm, or I don't know how effective he's really going to be.
You know what's funny? We've talked about the quarterbacks in the division, and we didn't mention Andy Dalton once.
Oh, nor should we.
Let's go to a break. We'll wrap up when we come back. Stick around.